Hello, good evening. So I'm here just a little early. I'm going to hop on with my laptop just in case I can't see the commentary on my phone as you guys comment. I'll be able to see it on my laptop. Let's see here. Let's see here. Just bear with me. I'm still getting everything situated. Oh, I see Honor's on here. Hi, Honor. So it's just like I was saying, I was getting my laptop ready just in case I'm not able to see the comments here. Let's see. I see that you said hello here. Hi. Let's see here. Try refreshing. Says we're having trouble playing this video. That's kind of trippy. Well, I'll give it a couple minutes and I'll refresh it. Maybe try it again here. Because I can't see hi on here, but I saw it on my laptop. So I did get what I am sending you in the mail, Honor. So be on the lookout for that. You should be getting that this week. It's just some little something. It's something extravagant that I saw today and I thought of you. So I wanted to be able to send that to you. So that'd be cool. As far as today goes, it was a good day. Working 12-hour shifts proved to be a bit long. And I worked Saturday and Sunday, and both were really busy days. And at work, we had a code yesterday. So I got some effort in doing compressions. And so today I was pretty sore. So my hubby came up with the excellent idea of like, hey, why don't you go and get a massage? And I haven't had one in years. And so I called up Soundstone Massage, which is located off of Watson Road here in St. Louis. And they were able to get me in today. It was a gentleman by the name of Thomas. And it was really cool. So you can book 60 minutes or 90 minutes. And I figured since I don't normally do it, I would do the 60. I am glad I did because he worked a lot of knots out of my back. And so they put headphones on you with this like soothing music. And they, you know, the therapist to do your feet, legs, arms, neck, back. And he also would use like rocks. So he heats up these rocks and like uses them as, say, he massages, which you don't have to have a man. They have women too if you're more comfortable with women doing it. For me, I just think it's just like, whatever. To me, it's anatomy. They're there to do a job, and it's like you're covered. You show as much as you're comfortable showing for something like that. So yeah, so that was really great. And then of course, I had lunch with Tim right before I went to have that done. And then I stopped by Walmart. I did a good deed. I was able to help out somebody that was kind of stuck at the register, just a little short. And like I told that person, I'm like, don't worry about it. It's just money. And I help make up the difference of the cost. Because I know in my lifetime, especially when the kids were younger, the things I would do for money, like a long time ago, I pawned off my wedding and engagement rings so that they would have winter clothing and jackets because I'd rather have my kids taken care of versus have a fancy diamond on my finger, and I don't have regrets on that. And then, like, I remember other times where we would have a very tight budget, and, like, certain things are always cheap to buy at the store. So when Tim and I would go to the store, we'd always buy certain things to make sure we stayed within our budget. So, like, we've all been there, and there's no guarantee that we won't be back there. So like I told the lady, I'm like, don't worry about it. Because she was like telling me, oh, I feel bad. I'm like, don't feel bad. I'm like, we've all been there. So I really felt like I did think to Honor's presentation in our book club this week. about how she's covering the Justice card and talking about, you know, how we can advocate for others and all that good stuff. And it could be as simple as you want it to be. It doesn't have to be a big thing, and it can be very much relevant in your daily lives, like when opportunities present themselves, you know, to do something good for your fellow human, you know, and it generally doesn't take a lot of effort. So I don't know. My laptop's a little slow tonight. Let's see here. Let's see if I can pull up my Go Live here. So feel free to tell me how your day was in the comments, of course. All right, cool. So now I can see my Go Live here. So I'm going to mute the sound on this. So let's see here. And you're welcome, Honor. You've been like one of the most, I see how you put, that's so sweet. You've been one of the most supporting, or not supporting, but most supportive, encouraging people in our group. I feel like you've really helped as far as build our group to what it is. It takes a village. So I know there's more than just me in our group that makes it beautiful and astonishing. And you're a big cornerstone of it. And I'm very grateful for you. Let's see here. And Honor says, we all have to help each other when we can. That's a lovely way to live the Justice card. It is about the day to day. From helping like you did or by just being a friend. You're right. I feel like people, that's one thing we're missing today in our world. It just seems more maybe exaggerated. I don't think it's always been the way it is, but it's just people caring about each other and just being respectful and kind and accepting. Ideally, it'd be good to get back to that. And I have faith in our youth, because if anything, as a middle-aged person, I look at young people and I don't really care much for the biases and labels. I don't like labels in general, but I really like how with our younger generation who's in their 20s, they question the status quo and they do speak up on things and they've got opinions and they're not just accepting because it's the way it's always been. So yeah. So if that makes sense, it's good to question things and all that good stuff. And I see my mom's on here. Hi, Mom. So let's see here. And then Honor, and then my mom says hi. And of course I say hi. And Honor says, I'm grateful for the opportunity. Community building is a passion of mine. I've heard you say that a couple different times, and I totally believe you. Like, Honor, you're always doing stuff to help build our community, and you know, you've got a lot going on, like you're making your own moves in life and really growing, and you're just cool. I mean, if anything, first and foremost, I just value your friendship. And I mean, I know we were part of another group together, the Unity Coven that's on Facebook, which is a private group. But I feel like if it wasn't for this group that stem from my small business, that we wouldn't have interacted as much because our other group is so much bigger from the online platform. So I'm really grateful that my small business has helped me find my friendship with you. So I won't get too mushy, but it's true. So tonight we're going to start with going through the court cards for Pentacles. So I'm off the next 2 days as well. So we'll cover the page tonight, the night tomorrow. And actually, I'm thinking on Wednesday, I might do 2 different go lives. I'll do one for the Queen and one for the King. That way we're wrapped up. And then we could look at, I do have some people interested in hanging out with me and my family at my house for like a barbecue where it'll be really laid back, sitting out on my back porch. We'll visit, we'll eat some food. You can make yourself at home. I really want to celebrate the fact that as a group that we've just darn near I've gotten through all 78 cards in tarot, and that is quite an undertaking. And even for people new to our group, you are more than welcome to come to this because you're on this tarot journey with us. And just because we are about done with all 78 cards doesn't mean that we're done with tarot. I continue to want to go and do additional go lives to build on our knowledge base and all that good stuff. So we'll continue to learn together and have our roots as a group and be just like that little tree stemming from a seed into this big, beautiful branching thing. That's what I want for our group, is for us to continue to grow and be there together, just to support each other and root each other on, right? So that'd be pretty cool. Let's see here. And Honor says, I value you as well. While I'm trying to branch off, I feel like we all grow together, which is true, we do. And we should be able to come. Just let me know the date that works best. I love to meet anyone and help out. So right now, so I found out today, that's another thing, because of that code that happened at work, because like many of you guys know, I'm a nurse. So on the floor I work on, we did have a patient who coded on us. It was a code blue on Sunday evening. And I remembered a lot. Like, I left the bedside like 3 years ago before I took this job, and I still know my advanced cardiac life support, which is where you identify cardiac rhythms and you know what meds to push. But I feel like I really need to really review this material and also get my certification back, because I am BLS certified like all healthcare providers have to be. But I'm taking it up a step by learning about my meds and my rhythms again, to make sure that as things continue to arise, that if nobody's around, if you're ACLS certified, you can lead that code until somebody gets there. I feel like that knowledge base will be able to literally help me save lives, and I see value in it. So I'm actually going to do this Saturday. It'll be like from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's going to be like an all-day thing. But by the time it's said and done, I'll have my ACLS certification again to complement my BLS. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So for our get-together, I am cool. I'm thinking either Sunday or Monday, with it being Memorial Day. If Sunday works for you guys, I'll put a little post in our group to assess if that would work for you guys. And then what I'll do is I will send you my home address. I live in Arnold, so I don't know. I mean, it might be a little bit of a drive for you guys, but say if you visit with me and you're not in good shape to drive back home, my husband and I have a guest room, and you can always crash out here. Because I do not believe in drinking and driving. So if you show up and you decide that you drink and you might have had a little bit too much to drink, I am not going to want you to drive. That's the human being, the mom in me. I'm going to tell you, you need to crash out with me. I'll be very adamant about it. You need to hang out with me tonight, and then you can leave back home tomorrow. And family would be more than welcome. Like, kids are cool. So I don't care what age they are. You know, bring them over. They can hang out and play in the backyard. We've got a big trampoline and, what is it? With the basketball, we've got the hoop set up in the backyard. And it's a pretty decent sized little backyard with a swing set that my husband built a couple years ago. So it's really family friendly, and we're down to earth people. You do not have to get dressed up for this. It's probably preferable that that you just come as you are, you know? Let's see here. And Honor says, we are used to the drive and we are very responsible about any of that. That's good, because some people get carried away, unfortunately, and it happens to any of us. I'm excited for the kids to meet as they are close in age. That's what I was thinking too, Honor. Your kids are close to my own children's age. So I think that would be really cool for them to hang out and express their different viewpoints and maybe play some video games or hang out outside. And I know they've got like their bikes and stuff, so it'd be cool, I think. So I'm really excited, you know. And I'm thinking for people who live out of state, or if you guys aren't able to come, I'm already kind of like stewing in my head how to honor you guys, because I do value you, maybe by doing some little something on this online platform. Maybe a candle lighting or something of that nature, to show that I love you as a group and value you, and that I'm proud of you for just simply being here and learning with me. So yeah, so, you know, I am pretty, inspired, quite moved by the whole idea. So, I know I'm wordy, but you know, as usual, I am. So we'll delve tonight into our Page of Pentacles. And I feel like tonight it will be more of a reading time because I've got two very great literary sources for this card. Now, as always, I want you to take in the central figure, the predominant color use, what they're doing in the card, what you see in the background. And I want you to observe with yourself, does this card make you feel comfortable or not comfortable? Why do you think that would be? And look at the feet, okay? And just take into consideration, is this a young person or older person? And yeah, just kind of take all that good stuff in here. So I'm going to start off with my go-to. I will be introducing a new author tonight with a book I found today at Pathways. So just hang tight because it's a really good book. I'm really excited to introduce the next one as well. So this is Rachel Pollack's Tarot Wisdom, Spiritual Teachings and Deeper Meanings. Throughout many, if not most, of these tarot teaching moments, I've used this book and I do recommend it. Rachel Pollack will always be one of the foundational people in tarot. It is what it is. She was just very brilliant and knowledgeable. So as I hold up the card, I'm going to read from her book, which is all about the Page of Pentacles. And then I'm going to hold the book up so that you guys see her examples here. And Haley, I see you're on here. Welcome. So Rachel says about the Page of Pentacles, this is the perfect or unified card of the suit, earth of earth, and so we might expect to see an image of someone grounded, possibly even slow or physically heavy, what esoterists call dense. The Shining Tribe version, which is in this book I'll show you guys, shows a stone circle in the form of a goddess, a picture of the Shekinah brought into the physical world, which would be this one. So see, this is like, and I'm going to try to pronunciate it, would be like the, what is it, the Venus of Wilhelmina? I hope I'm saying that last word right. She's one of my statues I've had for a while. So that would be like the female body. This is all about that feminine energy. She was discovered many years ago in Austria. Not this literal one. This is, of course, a duplicate. But it's very symbolic of, say, the mother of feminine energy, you know. So that is what we're saying with this card. It's literally like the birth of something new. So that's like a different interpretation, which I find it to be interesting because with the page, you know, they're messengers, and it's literally the birth of an idea of a new venture or project or relationship. So I really like how that feminine energy was incorporated into that particular card, you know. Let's see here. And Honor says, we just lost Rachel Pollack. I heard she was a lovely and powerful woman. I bet she was. I think she would be a cool one just to sit and have lunch or coffee with, you know. I would probably get lost with just her conversation and trying to absorb everything, you know. And so in her book, she says, in the more traditional cards, however, we do not really see an emphasis on material reality. The Golden Dawn version we see here, a contemporary reworking, shows a kind of Amazon warrior, a reminder of the idea of the Fante or Fantesca, the foot soldier. And I'll hold that up, which it's a woman without a bra, so prepare yourselves. So see. And then this symbol with the triangle that is upside down with the line, you see where that line is? That's very symbolic of earth. So, and then it says the Marcel figure holds up the coin and stares at it as if uncertain about what to do with it, which, let me show that one up close, which would be this one. Yeah, I really like in her book how she has different examples of these. So the writer page also looks at the pentacle, but with a much lighter attitude. He seems fascinated, rapt. I think of him as the model of a student, dedicated, caught up in his studies. If pages are messengers, which we know from studying these that our pages are messengers, what message would he bring us? Maybe he would tell us what he finds so wonderful in that lightly held pentacle, because you see how he's totally absorbed. He's not noticing anything else around him. And you see how there's one foot firmly planted on the ground while the other one, the heel is in an upright position. So it's like a new beginning. It's a new thing that he's already very much in wonder and awe of and about to take action on. But at this stage, again, it's a very youthful, innocent, naive energy. It's that wonder and awe, kind of like what we see in little kids at times when they discover or learn new things. That's the energy, especially with their pages in general, they have that. The Renaissance character identifies him as one of the greatest heroes of chivalry, Lancelot. Remember that these associations do not include the knights, so that heroic figures become the valets or valets. Lancelot epitomized the highest ideals of both the warrior and courtly love, that is, until he fell and became the lover of his king's wife, Guinevere. His dream had been to fulfill the Grail quest, but his surrender to temptation, to the body, to earth, gave that destiny over to his son, Galahad, whom Waite identified as the Knight of Swords, heir of air. There is another possibility here, that of the student of magic, the beginner in occult studies who follows the wonder of the pentacle. So it is a given that, yes, we're talking about earthly things when we talk about pentacles, but it is often associated with matters of the occult. And there's different ways of looking at this, but you basically have earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. And this symbol is a very powerful symbol that people wear on themselves. Not all people, but those who believe and have faith in it. Very much just, you know, similar to how Christians wear their cross proudly for their own reasons, right? Because in this group, we're about all the religions and all the faiths and respecting and honoring that. But with the pentagram, we're honoring all these earthly elements and including our spirit when we reference source, this higher being or power, for lack of a better descriptor, that's over us and trying to assign meaning and how to embody it in our lives and all this good stuff. So that's why it does kind of nod toward the occult. But we could be seeing somebody who's a student, like they are new to a profession, they're about to go back to school, they're very early in their studies. And so again, very youthful. We do not have an old person. And then note in the background, we've got mountains. So those are distant, those are not close. So there will be obstacles to be had when they embark on this journey. But at this point in time, the page doesn't care because they're so overly just excited for this new endeavor. And there's promise here. Like, look at all the green growth, you know, especially at the feet here. So this is a very good thing, and a lot of yellows used in this card to show what we always talk about, that warmth, clarity, illumination. This energy, whether it be male or female, they can see where they're going, you know. Let's see here. Okay, so no new comments so far. And then I've got a new book that I'm going to introduce to you guys that I discovered today. I'm always down for another tarot book because you can never fully learn everything about tarot because it's so diverse and complex. So this is Madame Pamida's Magical Tarot. It says using the cards to make your dreams come true. And it's literally by somebody named Madame Pamida. The cover drew me in, like, first and foremost. I like her accessory. I like the hair. I like the look on her face, and you can see here she's got the table with the cards out. But more so, I was really impressed when I would open up the book, say to look about how she does it with the cards. So I'll give you an example here. So there is a narrative about each card here. Let's see if I can turn the page or if it's going to get stuck on me. Let's see. And so she'll point out all the symbols. You know how we're always breaking down the symbols. She'll have the symbols and what they mean on these cards, about what it signifies in a reading, and a journal question for each card, and an affirmation. I'm holding this up so you guys can see that, or try to see it. I was immediately impressed with this structure. I like it. So I see that this is a book I can get a lot of use from different angles, you know. And so tonight I thought it would be great to use it to cover our Page of Pentacles. So I'm about to read this to you guys here. And let's see here. So Honor says, I've heard of that one, but haven't read it. Do you have Kitchen Table Tarot, or yeah, Table Tarot and Tarot Elements by Melissa Sinova? And yes, I have both of them. They are really good. I like Melissa Sinova. She also offers a lot of really cool ways of looking at tarot. She is a very well-known tarot reader in St. Louis. I've never met her or anything like that, but I am a fan of her work too, you know, and I recommend her as well. So I'm going to start reading here about our Page of Pentacles, and I will hold him back up so you guys can look at him as I read. So the Page of Pentacles stands in a green, grassy meadow above a small, plowed field, admiring a golden pentacle that he holds up with both hands. He is dressed in brown and green, which is what we have here, brown and green, but wears an elaborate red turban atop his head. The Page of Pentacles is the most practical of all the pages. He may be just starting his journey to finding purpose in life, but he has a plan on how to get there. I think of this page as being like that kid in high school who knew what she was going to do for her career, had her first choice college picked out, and was already thinking about where she was going to work when she was finished. With his big gold coin, the Page of Pentacles is going to buy that small plot of land and plow and plant the seeds of his project. So think of this pentacle like you would a seed. He is making his first investment. When the Page of Pentacles shows up in a reading, it indicates that someone is at the start of a long-term project. He may be a student or a true beginner at something, but he has prepared for this moment and takes it seriously. The page is wearing a red turban to indicate his love of sensual indulgences. He is already planning on how he's going to enjoy the profits he makes from his investment. But the brown and green of his outfit symbolize his grounded, practical nature and his ability to make his investment grow. His gesture supports this. He is holding the golden disc with reverence. He appreciates the opportunity that he has been given, and he's not going to waste it. As young as he is, he knows the value of what he is receiving. The small flowers at his feet reflect the help that nature will provide in the process. The small grove of trees indicates that there are still untapped areas of possibility for the future. The mountain indicates that there may be bigger opportunities ahead, but they are distant. Because the pages all indicate communication, because remember, pages are messengers, this card in a reading can indicate getting some good news about your finances or your health. So the keys to the treasure chest is what she calls this section. The key symbols of the Page of Pentacles. Brown shirt, leggings, and boots mean grounded in reality. The distant mountain, climbing the heights in the future. I like that. Grassy meadow and flowers. Prosperity is just sprouting. So see, we've got the beginnings of growth here, right? Green tunic, growth-oriented. A page, apprenticeship, a beginner with a plan. Pentacle, material wealth, health. Red turban, mine is on material gain. Small grove of trees, finding your way through confusion. The small plowed field, which is right there. Beginning his investment in the future. And then she says, the wizard's words of wisdom, what the Page of Pentacles signifies in a reading. It's a beginner with foresight, attending to foundational, practical matters, being given a leg up, taking advantage of new opportunities, taking the first steps in your plan. And then the next section being behind the mysterious door. Journal questions to explore the Page of Pentacles more deeply. What is my long-term goal? What first step do I need to take to get there? Because again, our page is planning. While in awe, very much planning. And magic words, it's an affirmation for the Page of Pentacles. Taking my first steps will lead me to my goal. So, I mean, I found this book today and I was like, yes. I like how she organizes things and sees these things. And I'm just, yeah. So, again, this is the book. I'd say, I'm sure if you don't live near me, you don't have a Pathways, check it out on Amazon because this looks like it's going to be a really good book. So I feel like we've covered a lot between just those two books alone. So basically, let's see here. So Honor says, I met Melissa at the last pagan picnic and she's a sweetheart, but also just completely confident in herself. Love her. Yes, I have heard of her confidence. And I think that's part of her thing. Like sometimes even in her book, she'll let some curse words fly. She doesn't try to be somebody she's not. And it does come across in her writing, which makes her stuff easier to read. So that is really cool. And it must have been really neat to meet her, Honor. You know it. So with this card, when it's in the upright position, so when we're talking about relationships, we're talking about somebody who, again, they're thinking long-term. This could be when you very first meet somebody, you hit it off with them, whether it be romantically or platonically. You're very in awe and excited for the potential of where it may go. So say if you continue to see this person, will it become a long relationship or not? And you'll never know if you don't theoretically plant the seed and see what sprouts out of the ground. You never know if you don't try, right? With career, this is somebody who, again, they might be going to school to go into a new career. And it's very common in our lives. We can have at least 3 careers. People, they get bored or they may not like a profession and they'll switch it up, which is totally understandable. So we're looking at somebody taking on a new endeavor, or if they love their work and they're happy with where they are, they might be getting a promotion or going into a different area related to their field. And very much excited for this. It's a needed change, right? And then with finances, this is somebody who's being very particular. Again, they're not just, spending willy-nilly. They're going to be very careful about how they manage their finances. This even could be a new opportunity for money that presents itself, or literal money that comes, like a windfall is what it's called. And wow, somebody's really happy to come into some money, but then they got to figure out, okay, how do I responsibly manage this, So it's that wonder of the page. And at this point, somebody might want to talk to an accountant or somebody who's really good with money, you know. So I'll go over some descriptors that I wrote down here. So we have studious. Again, we're looking at somebody who's a student, and there is a nod to the occult because we have the pentagram here. Fascination, full of wonder, new opportunity. This is someone who's ambitious, a planner, grounded, which makes sense because when we're talking about the pentacles, we're talking about the earth. Focused, again, we've got that razor sharp focus. Our page is not looking at anything but that pentacle, and they're holding it with both hands very carefully, you know, and not quite making that forward momentum, but they're about to. You see that one foot is up and the other one's planted firmly down. So they're about to kind of take that next step. And this is our intent. So this is also when people say a prayer and say, or another way of looking at it would be they kind of put it out there that no matter what, I am going to say finish school, or I am going to be able to do whatever. It's whatever you set your mind to, that's your intent. So you set your intent, you believe it, and then you do the work to manifest it. So at this point in time, our page is making their intent known, you know. Let's see here. Okay, no new comments. So I wanted to look at that. So with love, we had mentioned about what it meant between that, with career, with finances. So I won't bother going back over those. We went over all the symbols, which was in that book. Like, I just loved how she just like went through them. Like, I think that's beautiful, you know? And so now we're about to go into the reverse energy. And you guys know this is generally speaking, it's either an extreme of the upright meaning or generally speaking, a reversed meaning of the upright. So an extreme meaning of the upright would be somebody who stays in a state of awe and wonder and even lust. So say, for example, with romantic relationships, if somebody gets this card and say it's in reverse, they may not be wanting to stay with one person. They are the character known as they are in love with being in love. That initial, again, lust, not knowing the person, that initial feeling, which doesn't last in any relationship as far as that initial, you got to build past that for something to last and have longevity. Well, this person, this energy has no desire to do that. They want to stay in that state of awe, and they might have different partners and see different people because they love that feeling, right? Or if it's a friendship, this is somebody who might be more so focused on quantity over quality. So they might be wanting a lot of friends, even though they're fickle and they're not truly rooted and well-grounded. They just like the idea of being surrounded by a lot of people who they believe adore them. That would be a reversed energy here. With career, this is somebody who might be thinking about going to med school. For, you know, that's common with a lot of people. They want to be doctors. Or, you know, they're thinking about doing this transition, this big change in life. They're a dreamer. There's nothing wrong with being a dreamer, but at some point, you got to put some like action in to make it happen. These are people are just, they don't put in the action. They're just dreaming. Or it could be people who want quick and easy money without having to do a lot of work or effort. And yeah, that's not a good thing. This energy, when it's in a reverse, gets very bored. They don't like to stand still for very long, very fickle. Same thing with finances. They'll just spend money and then they go into the hole. They'll go into debt with it and not make the best decisions. So that's kind of like what we're looking at with that reversal energy of the upright. And then, so I'm going to turn it back over briefly to go over what I wrote down here. So we're looking at a missed chance. So as somebody who also doesn't take advantage of a new opportunity. Here, think about that feminine goddess energy. We have a birth of something new, right? In whatever shape or form that takes. And here, yeah, it was an opportunity, but the person did not take advantage of it, right? We have a lack of focus, not feeling that sense of awe and wonderment. Again, they get bored easily. And yeah, and I went over what it meant for love, career, and finances. So let's see here. So now we'll go into the cards that kind of like are similar, except for always the Hush Tarot. That's the one I keep for the very end. The rest of the cards I'm about to show you are based on Rider-Waite-Smith, which I do encourage when people are learning tarot to research your deck and get one based on Rider-Waite-Smith because it's easier to learn, you know. So I really like this one because we have this young person, okay, and look at her foot. She's very much rooted to the ground. And to me, it's like, I like how she's holding that pentacle to her core, very much in her own way, cradling it, just like our Rider-Waite-Smith page did. They're both cradling it very gently, you know, being very mindful of it. Her eyes are closed. She's turned inward, very much focused. This card also gives me hangman vibes. So recall the hangman from the major arcana. It kind of gives me that vibe too, where someone is just taking a time out from life. They're inwardly reflecting, seeing things from a different perspective before they continue on their journey. That would be like hanged man vibes, right? So with here, we have this. Very much turn inward, reflecting, and it's the size of this pentacle too. It's pretty big, and it's at her center. So that is very much what this character is focused on. We also have a lot of green around her, right? And I like how we have those predominant themes of blue. We have that tranquility and clarity that comes with blue. So with this one, we see a gentleman, and there's a key, okay, with a pentacle inside it. And you see how he's looking down at the ground, and he's going to be really careful before he plants. The keys are generally known to unlock doors. They're gateways, right? So he's going to be very careful about, okay, this is a really cool key. This is a cool opportunity, right? This is not like any key I've seen or had before. So what am I going to do? Is this the best place for me to plant this key or not? You know? And then we have, just look at the terrain here, mountains in the background. We have a tree here, okay? And he may be looking at the roots of this, you know, tree, wondering, okay, is this a good place or not? Because just like we've talked about, and we also have our flowers here, right? So with any seed, whether it be literal or figurative, you got to take into consideration the dirt, where you're planting it, how you're going to water it. Does it need fertilizer? You know, in order for it to do well and flourish. So at this stage, this figure is very much thoughtful and planning, you know, so I really like that. Now with this one, this comes from a deck. You guys know I'm a collector of decks because obviously I love tarot. I got this at Pathways today. It's Tarot Disassembled. And it's a really cool deck. I will probably end up having to do a show and tell. That way you guys can check it out. It is based on Rider-Waite-Smith, and it's a little different than what I usually show. It's a really cool one. I love that she's got this quote on it that says, every act of creation is first an act of destruction, which is a quote from Pablo Picasso. So that's on the side of the box. And then when you open it up, this is one of the artist's signed copies. And it came with like a really cool sticker, and it came with a bookmark, and like this is like the inside of the box. It's really pretty. It's a really well-made box. And like this is like what the back of the cards look like. But she basically literally deconstructs tarot into, you know how we always talk about these symbols, how the colors and the symbols have meanings. That is exactly what she's done. She has dissected it down to the symbols. So what we have here are the takeaways for, say, the card. So with this one, of course, we see this huge pentacle, okay, or a pentagram. It's the same thing, okay. We've got that red turban, okay, which here it looks like a scarf here because it's on somebody's head. But again, we have that passion, right? We've got that big tree. We've got a mountain here, okay. It to me reflects that somebody's got to overcome some obstacles to gain that upward momentum to get that desired outcome. You got to work for it, right? These are the fields that the page will plant their seed in, or seeds, being very particular of that. And then we have these beautiful flowers. You know, you basically reap what you sow, right? And I like the color choice with red and yellow. So very cool, right? So I really like what she did. And again, this is the back here. It's really pretty cards. Pretty good cardstock too. Like, I really like that. And then the author, it's created by Jennifer Cooper Stidley. I'll hold that up so you can see that too. That is her name. And that's her website on here too, in case you guys want to check her website out. Just so people know, like, so my local metaphysical store, you can actually order stuff on their website, and they're really friendly people too. So if you would ever order something from them, have internet problems, just call their store and they'll be more than happy to help you. You know, so I would say just Google Pathway St. Louis and they'll pop up. With this card, we have our crow friend. And you see, again, we have that commonality. Our crow is staring so intensely at this pinnacle, hanging from a tree. We've got the green growth. We've got the green trees. We've got the mountain. We've got flowers in play here. Okay. Very passionate. Red, right? That love, that feeling of excitement. We have blue coloration in play. I love it when stuff carries over from the Rider-Waite-Smith. It makes sense, doesn't it? And let's see here. And then the last card would be from the Hush Tarot. I love the art on this card I'm about to show you. I would say it's a cool picture just to have. I don't get Page of Pentacles vibes from it. I get more like High Priestess vibes. You guys tell me what you think when you see this. It's a pretty awesome picture. I love the detail. Whoever drew this is a really awesome artist. I love just this ominous look of the woman, and it looks like she's very much, I like her face. Look at her eyes. She looks very focused, and you see how she's like pointing at her temples, like toward her eyes a bit. And, you know, here we have these goats there. They look like they're at odds with each other, you know, but maybe they're getting on her nerves and she's trying to block them out. Who knows? But I don't get the same vibe with this card as I do with our OG Rider-Waite-Smith. And that's why, if you're new to tarot, get you one, again, based on Rider-Waite-Smith. But if you love the unconventional deck, get you a book or a deck that's Rider-Waite-Smith to go side by side so that you can still learn and not be confused. Because back when I was learning tarot, I was on my own. I predominantly was self-taught in what I do. I did take some online stuff, you know, and I read some books, but I didn't have any tarot teaching moments, and I didn't have a group that I really got a lot from. If anything, a lot of the groups that I was a part of, people would post these spreads and ask the group, well, what do you think it means? And there's nothing wrong with that. But there was nothing like this where they'd go card from card, you know, going over what we go over, unless you sign up for a course. And that can, of course, you know, cost some money. And plus, you can only cover so much during a certain amount of time. So it's just one of those things you kind of weigh, you know, if you want to do something like that or not. I say do what resounds with you, but I know early on, I was really particular with what decks I would buy because I was trying to figure out what I was looking at, you know. And the cool thing about that deck with the tarot disassembled, it has this like QR code that you scan and you get this huge like booklet that accompanies the deck. So if anything, from what I've noticed from having this deck so far, and again, I won't keep y'all too long talking about it, I think it would be a good deck for somebody new and learning, even though it is a bit of a deviation from the standard, because in it you get this card with this QR code. You scan that onto your phone and it immediately comes up. It was like 150 some pages. It goes into so much meaty stuff with tarot. So I would say if this really resounds with you, I'll look at doing a tarot show and tell so you guys can check it out more to see if you really want to invest the money. But I was very impressed with it. I like the extra goodies that came with it too. You know, it was really nice of the author to do that. So I think that wraps us up tonight. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And I will be back on tomorrow night and we will do the Knight of Pentacles. So thank you for hanging out with me, and I hope that you have a restful evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.